It's the sum of the savages, we're live in the mix. cHiLzTheSavage, I'm wild with the tricks. Nate the Celt, bringing history's flame. Flash the goat herd, taming the game. Sith turned Jedi, flip the dark to light. Mighty Mouse Matt, scrapping every fight. We're dropping truth bombs, no filter, no fear. Everyday topics, yeah, we're keeping it clear.
Summit of savages, we're raising the stakes. Different views clashing, that's what it takes. No holding back, we're breaking the mold. Outside the box, yeah, we're bold and cold.
I'm Chills, the mic's my blade, I'm cutting through. Savage vibes, spilling thoughts, that's true. Every angle's fair, I'll flip the script. Ain't no topic safe when the savage grips.
Nate the Celt, warrior soul in my veins. Past meets present, breaking all chains. I'll clash, I'll argue, but I'll hear you out. Perspective shifting, that's what it's about. Summit of savages, we're raising the stakes. Different views clashing, that's what it takes. No holding back, we're breaking the mold. Outside the box, yeah, we're bold and cold.
Yep, and that's why we're not doing no more of that song now. So this is part 2 of the same stream. Part 1, I guess when I updated OBS, it put the microphone at the default driver. I had no clue, no knowledge. So we ended that. That was based on just, is magic real? We were talking about plant magic, things that would probably get us in trouble. So it might be a good thing that it didn't work, to be perfectly honest. However, for the second part, here's your monologue. The weather is creepy as hell. It's completely nuts. I live personally in Ohio, and you never know whether it's going to snow, rain, sleet, or hail in 80-degree weather. It's that erratic. So that's one of our topics, and we're going to go very heavy into detail on things that may have actually altered the weather. After that, we're going to discuss something else, and Nate will bring us into that topic. So when we're there, you'll understand. Until then, it's going to be me, it's going to be Mighty Mouse, and it's going to be Nate the Celt. Flash had to go to bed. It's close to 1 o'clock. So with that being said, let's barge in. As I said, we got Nate up here above me. I'll pull him over. He could cover up the leprechaun mat. All right. Now, just to verify, my microphone is lighting up, like on OBS. So you guys should be able to hear me. I will not be able to see if somebody's here unless they use chat. However, let's go ahead and get right into this topic. We got this wild weather, okay? We know that our weather's changing. We don't know exactly why, because some of us just aren't intelligent enough to know. However, there are things that have altered our weather, caused issues with our weather, and that's where we're going to go. The weather I'm referring to is rapid swings, from heat to freeze, from calm to storm, things that feel unnatural. For instance, 2021's Texas freeze after it was warm, like instantly. You got climate science ties, they tie it to global warming. Warmer oceans disrupt jet streams, amplifying extremes. I'm going to be 100% honest. I believe that there's global warming. I don't believe that there's as much human effect as they claim. I believe that what we're going through when it comes to our global warming is a natural Earth cycle. And that's basing it on science, such as the graphs that Randall Carlson was able to give that showed the ice core samples and all the different erratic weather changes. People don't want to consider things like that. We really need to. We also have, it could be specific disasters, which is the aspect I come from. Could certain effects, certain man-made cataclysms have altered our weather? For an example, in 2010, we had a major oil spill, the BP oil spill. We also had snow in the United Kingdom that broke records. The Deepwater Horizon spilled around 4.9 million barrels into the Gulf of Mexico. And that was April through July of 2010. And it disrupted many ecosystems. The UK snow, it was winter for 2011 and 2010 was brutal. The second coldest December since 1659, with heavy snow 20 plus inches in some areas. 20 plus inches in Scotland, of all places. The Met Office data confirmed the temperatures hit negative 18 Celsius. Oh, not right now. Um, the spill. The reason that I connect these two together personally is if you look at the spill, it altered Gulf currents. That's a fact. For instance, is if you want an example, the loop current. It was weakening the heat transfer to the Atlantic, cooling the European winter jets. And that's like jet streams. That's not. I'm not saying planes. Jet stream shifts. The evidence. This is wild because I know you guys are getting ready to pop in soon here too and give me your opinions. But there's so much on this. The evidence. MIT studies in 2011 showed oil and dispersants slowed the Gulf microbes, potentially stalling currents. Gulf Stream influences the UK weather. Disruptions could strengthen Arctic highs depending on snow. In 2010, saw a negative North Atlantic oscillation. NAO. It's linked to cold European winters, possibly amplified by the changes in the ocean. There are counter arguments. There's no direct studies that link the BP spill to the UK snow. Climate models point to natural variability, El Nino, NAO, as the main drivers. But the spill scale was so huge and localized, there's a battle there. The cold snaps predate 2010. That's a valid argument. They're saying correlation isn't causation. If this current slowed, it could tip fragile ecosystems. So that's what we got to consider. Now that we're in this topic, Mighty Mouse, 2010, you would have been young.
5.
You would have just been playing Zelda.
Yeah,
Okay. Do you know anything about the BP oil spill?
I do not.
Do you think that something happening in the ocean could affect the weather in, 3,000 miles away?
Yeah.
What about you, Nate? You know more than he would.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would say that played an effect on the weather that happened in England because it just the even the water ecosystem is so delicate. You throw it out of balance slightly, you have the weather that England ended up getting.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, now let's get into another one. Now this isn't necessarily conspiracy theories. This is just the alternate theories that were thought about when the accidents actually happened. So I don't look at those as conspiracy theories because for a point in time, they weren't exactly accepted, but they were not rejected. That's where I come from. We're going to get into a more intense one. It's a year later. It's in a different part of the world. The Fukushima in the Inuit skies. Now, March 11th, 2011, a 9.0 earthquake and tsunami caused meltdowns at the Fukushima Daiichi, releasing radiation, cesium-134, cesium-137, into the sea. The Inuit If you don't know who they would be the people that are in Alaska. They are the pretty much Eskimos that stare at the sky. They focus more on the sky than anywhere else. They had claimed in 2011 and 2012 from all kinds of community accounts. These are people that live there. That their skies, from Nunavut and Alaska Inuits, noted that the skies look different. They shifted sunrise and sunset times, odd colors, odd star positions, and some linked it directly to the time of Fukushima. Now, we know that there was a slight pole shift. It was very, very minute. So there could have been a slight change in the sky for people that would watch it every day. The theory: radiation or atmospheric changes altered the Arctic optics or magnetic field, skewing how skies appeared. This all fits in with the weather too. Keep that in mind. The evidence: Fukushima released 940 pbq of radiation, mostly over the Pacific, with traces reaching the Arctic via currents and winds. Inuit observations aligned with oral traditions of tracking subtle environment shifts, elders noting ice changes. We use those for science on some aspects. We can't just ignore them for other aspects. 2011 NOAA studies found cesium in the Arctic tuna, proving long range transport. So we know the radiation was making it into the Arctic. Magnetic field disruptions from radiation or solar activity might affect navigation, misaligning perceived horizons. Once again, it's not mentioned, but it can be verified by simply looking into it. We did have a minor pole shift, but our Earth is so large, it wasn't that noticeable unless you had the machines that read it. There are counter arguments. Radiation levels in the Arctic were low. Okay, but they're there. We got to stop saying, "Oh, what's low?" So it didn't really. It's not as bad. No, it made it down there. Period. Sunrise shifts could be Earth's axis wobble. Okay, let's talk about that part. Nate, if these people have been watching the skies for at least 1,000 years, do you think that they would take the goddamn wobble into consideration?
You mean
Earth's wobble.
axis?
When they're watching the sky, they know when the solstices are. How are they not going to know if the sky is different for 2 days every year from a wobble or something like that? They would.
They would know that.
Absolutely. That's one of the counter arguments. Oh, it might have just been on a wobble. That's one of the dumbest counter arguments I've ever heard. Optical illusions and effects, such as the aurora borealis. No, they are talking about stars, not lights. Okay, the speculation. Could low-level radiation tweak atmospheric chemistry, bending light? Inuit knowledge deserves a look, but its hard proof is missing. I'm a firm believer in Occam's razor. The most obvious answer is right in front of you. Okay, now for the best part. Connecting BP.
Hold on, Joe.
Go ahead.
Scrog made a comment. You want to check it out?
Oh. That's what I'm saying, Scrog. The wobble isn't necessary. It's very common, and it's just ignored. But it's absolutely there. So I'm sure these ancient cultures that have been staring at the skies are not just discounting it, acting like it's not there. They would acknowledge that. They would know it happens. But We got connecting the BP in Fukushima to the weather. A shared thread. Both had disrupted ecosystems. BP oil, Fukushima radiation, potentially nudging complex systems such as the currents or the atmospheres. BP Snowlink, Gulf current slowdown might have cooled the Arctic winds, making it snow and get colder in the UK. Fukushima, we know the effects of that. Didn't during Fukushima, Nate, we have a situation with radioactive materials almost making it to America or making it up north or something? I remember hearing something about it, but I don't remember enough to actually speak on it.
I remember bits and pieces like you. I don't remember. I mean, we're going back some ways, memory wise. So,
Yeah.
I just remember bits and pieces. I think up towards Canada is where radioactive stuff was heading. I don't know if they remember if they intercepted it or not.
Yeah. Well, here's one for you. All the space debris we got up there. All these satellites that are no longer active, that are dead satellites. Eventually, if we don't stop that, it's going to cause a cooling effect on Earth. There's going to be so many at a certain point in time where it's going to interfere with our sunlight. And the UK are already plotting on doing this. They just passed it, or it was just ran through their house or whatever. We could discuss it next week when I have more information. But they're trying to block out the sun. I mean, people need to seek therapy. Yeah, it's the same thing I was saying. What the fuck? But okay.
My mind just went straight to The Simpsons with Mr. Burns.
Exactly.
Trying to block.
Exactly. That's
Trying
where
to block out.
it's the UK. They may have got it from The Simpsons. That's the bad part.
Simpsons predicted another thing.
No, they didn't predict it. They gave him the blueprint. Okay, so Nate, do you think the UK snow situation with the BP oil spill in the Fukushima and the accepted fact that we know that there was a minor pole shift could have been what's causing the altered weather? Consider our seasons are at least a month to 2 months different from when we were younger, when we were 20.
I mean, nowadays it seems like
Everything's
we're
later.
skipping seasons.
Not in Ohio.
No,
One day we're getting snow, the next day it's 80 degrees, and then that night it's snowing again.
then the next day you get the rainstorm.
Well, that's here in PA. It's almost the same as you, but I mean, we went from 40s up to 80s, then dropped back down to the 50s, and then we started running hot all week. It's like we'd skipped spring totally. We went from winter to summer.
We went to winter,
And then today,
2 days of
it's
spring.
cold.
And we went winter to 2 days of spring to summer to winter to summer to winter, summer, spring. And tomorrow it should be spring. Nate or Matt,
What's up?
what is your opinion on the weather?
It's more
I put him on a spot and he has no clue because weather is not his suit.
bipolar.
Okay, good enough answer. What I'm going to go ahead and do is this is where I go ahead, I press this button right here, and I say, Nate, break us in. Topic number 2.
So our next topic is going to be how men are not understood by females, friends, family, of what they are going through mentally and emotionally at any given time, and how other people's actions could affect what a man is going through. Most men don't talk about this stuff for views of being weak, viewed as being weak or less of a man, or what I think the new term is simp, I guess, I think is the correct term.
Nope. Nope.
Um,
Nope. Nope. I'm interrupting you. Nope. Simp has its
no,
own meaning. A simp,
okay,
a
okay.
simp is Matt and
I'm
his
trying to catch up
OnlyFans
on some of
and his
these things.
$8,000 charge.
Hey,
Nate,
we don't talk
Matt
about
had
that.
an $8,000
Hey,
charge
we don't
block.
talk about.
You hold on.
No, we don't talk about that.
His mom,
I'm trying to keep up with some of the terminology today.
listen,
so I'm trying.
his mom got a phone call while he was at work saying that somebody was trying to process an $8,000 OnlyFans charge. $8,000, and it was a big, hefty woman. I think she would have put him in a headlock.
Hold on. So, Scrog, I'm reading your comments. Says, I am incredibly biased on this. As a man, buck the F up and move forward. See, unfortunately, that's the sad part. Is as men, that's all we were ever taught.
No,
Man
listen,
up,
I gotta
buck
speak
up.
on this one. Okay, so yes, there's absolutely always times where a male they need to buck up, pull up their pants, and say, "Hey, I gotta bite the bullet. I gotta do what I gotta do. I gotta go to work. Look, I got a torn muscle. I was showing Nate earlier. If I close my hand and I squeeze a fist, my arm turns purple and starts bruising. Okay, I still go to work every day. I feel that's not the area that we have issues with, and that's why we run into the problems we're running into. See, a lot of people, they don't have father figures exactly. A lot of the communities we grew up there, yeah, people would have fathers, or fathers would not just walk away like a lot, but a lot of them were taken in a fuck. And I caught myself. I almost said it, in bad ways, or just taken away too soon. I feel in scenarios where the mother chases the father out and tries to be the father, it the overcompensation of trying to take that role takes away the critical thinking, and by doing that, that boy that's being raised no longer can buck up or pull their straps up. However, we have issues where women are, or the way women are taught, oh, you deserve the world. But they're not taught, whoever's giving you the world, you need to give them the world also. If I, how do I say this without implicating anybody or starting shit? If I was to give somebody, say, hey, can you wash my clothes? Right? Throw this pair of pants in a washer with this shirt. And I take care of the person. And I'm not trying to use this as an example for me personally or nothing like that. So let's make this clear. Because I don't want beat up. Okay? I'm calling it what it is.
Yeah.
But, okay, so I take care of my old lady. Say I was to ask her to wash a pair of pants and a shirt for work. And she wasn't doing nothing at the time. And say she throws one of them in and just leaves the shirt there. And then I wake up and I'm like, hey, I need that shirt. Where's it at? I don't know. That's where we run into the problem. Because it's like, hey, we are going out of our way. We're waking up. We're not bothering you, making you wake up with us. We're letting you sleep a lot longer. And it's not just to try to be nice. It's because that's we're supposed to take care of things, and we're not supposed to make everybody else miserable while we got to go through the misery of taking care of it. What I see we're running into a lot, and this isn't me personally, but this is a lot of men, is they get with these women. These women promise the world, but they can only offer their body. That's the problem. It's like, hey, I'm going to sleep with you instead of actually caring about what you got going on. For instance, Nate was taking care of people. Hey, let me look out your family. I don't want to get into your story or your personal aspects, but people went around him when he had no opportunity to go back against them because he was working. Let's call it what it was. That's the areas we run into. It's the people that don't consider. But go ahead, Nate, because I'm
Well,
taking
that
over your topic.
I know you're good. I wanted to go back and touch on Scrog's comment for a second.
Go for it.
I have a real big issue with the whole man up, you know, be a man, this, that, and the other. And I didn't used to before until this past November and December when I was diagnosed with the cancer. And I had somebody tell me to man up when, I mean, that,
You can't. Call it what it is.
how can I say? So I'm trying not to break at the moment.
Don't break.
So that's a very scary thing to find out that someone has. And there's a lot of emotions and thoughts and everything else that a person goes through. And to look at somebody that's dealing with all that and trying to internalize it all because they're used to doing that and not reaching out for help, not talking to many people about it. And when you finally talk to somebody and you're being told, "Oh, just man up," it's like, wait, man up, and my whole life just got flipped upside down, and I couldn't work for a while, and stuff like that, and just man up. It's since then I've had an irritation when I hear those words because it hits a real tender spot for me. Yeah, there are times I will agree with you, Chills, that yeah, just man up, buck up, buttercup.
That's another thing. Here's
But
another thing. Listen. Because I'm 100% all for man up, pull up your panties, and do what you got to do that's important. But I'm also all for, hey, it's okay if you want to go in a room by yourself and just break. If you just want to break, and you're keeping everybody away from you, and you just need to let tears flow. You lost somebody, something's wrong. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. We run into the problem where we're telling these kids, man up, and then telling them, hey, don't have emotions.
yeah, and it's not even just boys we're telling this to. It's girls are being told men aren't supposed to have emotions. They're ATMs.
I might have to trim this
Like,
off.
no. So, but
I'm listening. Good. Go ahead, Nate. You got
hold
something.
on, I'm reading Scruggs' comment.
Oh, it just came up for me. Yes, exactly. Too many people latch on to something they're going through and they can't get over it. The only way to get over it is to go through it, to deal with it.
And I agree with that.
I
You
feel,
know,
and
but
listen, and look, I, I will never say a mother is a bad parent, but I will absolutely say a mother is not a father. And a lot, there is a significant amount of the kids committing crazy acts of violence that don't have fathers in the picture. I feel that the mothers are some of the problems saying, man up, man up, man up, thinking men ain't supposed to be able to break down in private. They want their sons to be this solid soldier that could go through hell, but they don't want their son to be able to make it through life emotionally. They want their son to lose their mind, get themselves in trouble, not use critical thinking because they're so emotional and they're not allowed to have emotions, so they try to suppress it. That's what I see a lot of. What's your opinion? You're a Gen Z, I guess.
Yeah, ooh, that hit a little too deep.
Did it now?
Yeah,
Why is that?
because I do everything that I shouldn't do.
What are you talking about?
Like I don't break because I don't break. I don't do any of that. Only time I break is when it's too much. I just lock it up, throw it away.
And I've told you how many times go in there and just let loose, dude. Right or wrong.
You have. It's just since it's so built in. It just
I didn't build it into you.
I know.
I have done nothing but tried to be a shoulder there for you so you understand it's okay.
Yeah, I do understand. It's just breaking that habit that's been there for so long.
Yeah, but there's different aspects. So, yeah, I understand exactly where you're coming from. I'll say that first. And I completely appreciate you being honest. But there's aspects of the way you were raised that you've just recently told us about
Mm-hmm.
that shows you were raised at certain points in time by very good people that had very bad pasts. But that, in other times, you were raised by a very, very, very bad person who hid her past and used you as a crutch to have an easier life.
Yeah.
Listen, if you're gonna allow somebody to use you as a crutch, you're gonna beat yourself down. That's how that works out.
Yeah.
That's why when you say, "Hey, I got paid, I'm gonna buy this," okay, just pay attention to what you're spending. Yeah, like you were spending all kinds of money on video games and shit. And I told you, hey, lock yourself into this amount. Don't go no more than this. And that way you're good.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked out for you.
Yeah.
You have an issue with critical thinking.
I very much do.
That's where I feel a lot of the whole emotional process is being destroyed. When the emotions are destroyed and told to be suppressed, the critical thinking leaves with that suppression.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, but it correlate it like core it connects together. The way I feel, they're hand in hand. What do you think, Nate?
trying to think of the best words for this one.
I'm okay, stranger, to your situation. Went through it all with my wife. 2 years of radiation and chemo. We faced it, made plans to set the path, and went forward. Yeah, you know what? That's really, really kick ass, Scrog. That is absolutely kick ass. And I am proud to say that I've known you for quite a while through my streams. And you're probably one of the coolest people I've ever met on stream. Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, Scruggs has been with us for a while now.
Yeah, he's
Well,
part of the
with you.
family.
Yeah.
I brought him in a Discord that nobody else could even get into. Listen, Scrog's part of the family. But go ahead, Nate.
With the whole what Mighty Mouse was going through, um, yeah, you may not have, brought him up that way, but it's, kind of a societal thing. Wouldn't you agree on that one, Matt? Is that
It,
partially why you were
I
getting
don't
that
think
way?
society should be raising kids. I think it should only be the parents. And that's where
And
we
I
get in
agree
the
with that.
pitfall.
And that's where I agree with that. It should be up to the parents and not the what's the, I'm trying to remember that full saying. They try to say it takes a village to raise a child. No, it takes a family to raise a child.
It takes a village
know,
if something
it's
happens to the father protecting a village.
yeah, but not everybody should have their own say in how children should be raised.
Yes.
And unfortunately, because of so long of it going on, I mean, Chills, you and I grew up with the same societal outlook. Men aren't
Absolutely.
supposed to cry. Men are supposed to just bottle up and be stone faced.
Nate, Nate.
But
We gave each other PTSD.
yeah, we did.
The things we did to each other when we were younger, we gave each other what they call PTSD now. And we didn't call it PTSD. We would just know, hey, don't do this near him or he's going to fuck you up. But I mean,
But we had fun.
most of the time. But if the message of the night, to be perfectly honest, is look at everything from an outside perspective. Whether it be the BP oil spills, I still have the outro and everything. I'm not going into that yet. That'll be in a few minutes here. But whether it be the BP oil spill, Fukushima, the weather patterns, look at it from an outside perspective, like you're outside the box. You have no idea what it is, and you want to know what it is. And you want to know, hey, how is this actually happening? Could there be other things causing it? If there's other things, is there any evidence of the other things? Things of that nature. When it comes to the men, look, women don't have it as hard as men in most aspects. There are some aspects they do, but majority of it we keep to ourselves. We'll go to work, we'll take care of everybody around us, and we'll forget about our problems until they become too much for us to handle. If you don't give yourself an out for those problems, and you don't give yourself an opportunity to let those problems go, all you're doing is building up a cataclysm that you're going to create yourself. If that
And
makes
the
sense.
health concerns too from it.
Oh, health concerns. We don't even need to go in that. Listen, you can get an ulcer. You don't want an ulcer.
Have heart problems.
You definitely don't want an ulcer. It burns every time I do puke. But all
You
right.
gotta watch what you eat. It
Yeah.
sucks.
Oh, I don't eat nothing spicy. Nothing at all.
I can't do spicy anymore.
But it looks like we are going to have to jump to the monologue, which is right here. So, for tonight, that's part two. That's the second part of our podcast. The first part don't have no sound. Ain't worth listening to. Sorry about it. That's it for this week's Summit of Savages. And damn, I mean, what a ride. We've pretty much pushed buttons on places that we normally don't talk about. For instance, the weather situation. We tripped through a haze of ancient magic. Well, we did, but you guys didn't really get to hear the convo. There was mentions of druids, shamans, henbane, how they were connected. We'll have to do that topic again one day because there's a lot more to that. Was it real? Was magic real? It felt real to them. And then we went into we'll call what Matt referred to it, bipolar weather. Did BP's oil slick bury the UK in snow that year? Did Fukushima, the fallout from it, have changes on the Arctic skies, as the Inuit elders saw? From plants to disasters, we're peeling back the layers of the world that's wilder than we think. Your brain's on fire. Share this part of the episode with your friends. Let them join the conversation. Yeah, even give it to the savages that might want to argue. Maybe we'll bring them on. I'm more than willing to hear other people out in most aspects. Drop a like. Let me know if you guys like it. If you're not subscribed and this is new to you, subscribe. We're only a couple episodes into it. And if you really, really want to get your message to us and you want to tell us a suggestion, his name is Matt Yost. MATHEW Yost. On Facebook. You can DM him the ideas. I'm giving you the okay. I don't read DMs. I have no notifications because my phone can't be going off like that at work. So you can get hold of Matt. You can send me a DM, but I only probably check them once a week. Unless I'm making a phone call or trying to get hold of somebody. Or if you got a story you want to tell. I have done interviews where the guy got a double lung transplant. And it was an amazing story that he told. For next week, I don't even know what topics because it's going to be some wild topics. Something fun, something enjoyable. Something weather related. Any ideas, Nate? Anything?
Off the top of my head, right at the moment.
Get that off screen. Get that off screen. Get that off screen. There you go. Oh no, wait.
Hey, no,
It's just me in a monologue. Sorry about that.
I just said you two in the monologue.
I forgot.
You out of me?
Okay.
What about us? We were discussing we were talking about getting feedback about doing behind the Savage Summit on Rumble or whatever.
Behind the scenes.
Oh yeah. Also, let us know. Do you want us to go live on Rumble around an hour in advance before the show or an hour after the show so we can go more in-depth discussions? I think it would be better to do it after it.
Yeah, I'd say.
And that way we could hit any topics. Go ahead.
Well, if you do it after, we'll lose Flash, definitely.
Yeah, but if we do it before, we'll be all right. So maybe for like an hour before the show, maybe 90 minutes. We'll figure that out. Let us know. Do you guys want to see us getting prepared and bullshit and yeah, I'm Scrog. I'm on Rumble. Like I streamed to Rumble faithfully. The show we're referring to right now will only be on Rumble because certain topics, certain actions we can't do on YouTube. Or the site. They're one and the same.
Yeah, they are.
So, yeah, Rumble, Dan Bongino's platform. Well, he's part owner or whatever. But anyway, let us know. And if you guys want us to, we'll set it up on there. And I'm not gonna go charging for it like some people do with their after shows or anything like that. It'll just be an exclusive to another platform. So, with that
Watch
being
the
said,
shenanigans we do before
yeah,
the show.
Oh God,
it could be fun.
indeed.
Usually, it has a lot of bacon in it. Pretty much, Scrog. So,
I agree with that one,
let me go
Josh.
ahead and end this. Look, we got Matt sticking his arm over here. You try to touch me, I'm telling you, I'm kneecapping you with a roll of toilet paper. Exactly. But with that being said, let me go ahead and end it. And I'm sure we will talk. Uh, if we don't talk on stream, then we'll talk in messages. So go ahead and leave a message after the video if there's something you want us to cover and you don't want to bother Matt over here. Until next week, stay savage. Don't get stressed out. It's legal in most states. If you're in one of them states, it might help you. If you're over 18. With that being said, I'm out of here. Scrog saying, touch me. Matt, do you value your kneecaps? I have a roll of toilet paper right here from when I made my toe bleed.
Oh no! Oh
A
no!
brush and a roll of toilet paper.